Why traditional talk shows are dying and new ones are evolving. Hi, I'm Darwin Randolph and welcome to the COOLIEST show. This is a social commentary show where we get to break down the things so we can get a better understanding of the world that we live in. Now, let's get back into it. Let's get straight into it. Why traditional talk shows are dying and new ones are evolving. Let's pull back the layers just a little bit. Every day we go out into the world, we're looking at social media. Social media, if we're being honest, is the new version of broadcasting. You think of channels, the channels that people own, the accounts that people have. These are the channels of broadcasting, which was previously owned by private companies. Now it's owned by people. The exact same thing, doing the exact same thing, putting out content for people to come and watch them. Now, it was once a broadcasting where it put out multiple different shows, is now a specific channel that puts out specific content for specific people. This in turn allows us to pick and choose what we want to watch, giving us more of a customization that broadcasting lacked. How does this relate to talk shows? Well, talk shows were the part of the broadcasting where people can come for social commentary, political views, entertainment, pop culture reference, and deep dives into celebrities. You look at talk shows such as the Steve Harvey Show. I used to love the Steve Harvey Show when I was younger. The Arsenio Hall Show, Jennifer Hudson Show, Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, Good Morning America, The View. The list goes on and on. And these talk shows thrive off of a connection, not just between the viewer, but more importantly, a connection between the people that they have on. The people that they have on and the issues that they talk about are the driving force for the show, as it is with all talk shows. But it's a little bit different between the talk shows that are evolving and the talk shows that are dying. Let's first get a little bit of an understanding of the history of it, because the history will allow us to dictate the future. Starting with 1906, this was the first time a radio show had ever been widespread out. This was a Bible reading, and I think that's such a beautiful thing. Shout out to God. This was a Bible reading by Reginald Fessenden, and this was on Christmas Eve, 1906. Now, since then, multiple broadcasting radio shows have been put out. But in 1967, Phil Donahue had the first aired talk show. Now, since 1907, with the Phil Donahue aired talk show, most talk shows have followed that same format, starting with the monologue, having a guest, the guest sitting on the left of our TV screen, but the right in person, and then ends with a monologue, maybe mixed in a game in between. But since 1967, the same format has been put out. And I think that's so funny, because as our lives continue to evolve, some things remain the same until they don't. We're going to talk about the death or the decline of the social impact as well as popularity of these traditional talk shows. Some of these are still on air, but they're not as impactful as they are. And the main contributor to that is social media. As I mentioned before, we get on social media all the time. We're frequently on it. 5.6 billion people in this world have social media. Allow that to sink in. But because all these people have social media, the idea of meeting at a certain time to get a better understanding or to get a deep dive to a celebrity or pop culture or political view doesn't seem as important. If we wanted to see what a celebrity is doing, we'll look at their account. If we wanted to look more into a political thing, we'll just check the news because they've already put something out. We don't need to sit and wait for a talk show to happen because we have commentary 24/7. As soon as it happens, we can go online and look at the commentary, which is starting to show the cracks in the traditional talk show's armor. The second thing is something that I briefly spoke on, but it's the failure to evolve. As mentioned before, most broadcasting shows follow the same format as they did since the 1960s. This format includes, as I said, monologue, conversation, closing monologue. This often shows or often proves to have a less authentic feel because you don't get to actually see the people as they are as a whole. They're most likely just coming on the talk show to promote something. Because the talk show is also formatted in a specific time frame that it has to stay in, it doesn't leave room for a real deep, intense, or authentic conversation. It's just producing content to put it out. And I think viewers and people in general are starting to fall out of love with that. What once used to be praised as consistency is now being praised as inauthentic, as being praised as robotic, as being praised as routine, rather than it being something that we can consistently rely on, because we don't have to consistently rely on it anymore. Again, like I said, social media is there. So the idea of us having to watch something at a certain point, at a certain time, at a certain place is completely dead, which means we're only going to watch, we as in people in general are only going to watch things that intrigue us. We have the luxury of curating an algorithm that suits the idea of ourselves that we want to be. And because of that, traditional talk shows usually get left behind because we rather look at the person on social media, or in general, we rather just gain a better understanding from the people that we want to hear it from. Authenticity is key. And I think that's why new talk shows are evolving because of it. Because of these new talk shows, think of the market, and think of how the market used to be, The market used to be between 4 to 5 people on broadcast television, plus the local news channels. That's a very select few of people, which caused a funnel of all the people who want to hear about something are forced to go to those 4 or 5 people. The market has greatly changed. And now we have hundreds, if not thousands, if not I was about to say millions, that's kind of crazy, but if not hundreds of thousands of people sharing their idea on social media in a talk show format. I mean, you have podcasters, which I mean, shout out to y'all, because I'm in this category. So there's no hate, there's no slander at all. But you have a multitude of podcasters, YouTube channels, TikTok accounts, social media accounts in general, live streamers. You have people in so many different formats having conversations through a screen, through a camera. That is a talk show at the base of it. The core of it is never going to change. It's just going to evolve. And because the evolution is having within the talk show, people are only following people, as I said before, because of authenticity. You have to make yourself individually unique in order to get people to watch you. And talk shows, the traditional broadcast talk shows, don't have that authenticity. They rely on bringing on guests. They rely on having the hottest celebrity to come on their show. But if the hottest celebrities rather go on a show that allows them more freedom, more creative freedom, more verbal freedom to say what they want to say, not held down by a time format, not held down by the regulations of broadcast television, they'd rather go there. Like, I think the prime example, or one of the biggest example, is the Mafia-thon with Kai Cenat. You looked at the Mafia-thon and you had all these different guests coming in, and they got to just take a deep breath and relax and be their authentic version. They didn't have to portray an image, because broadcast holds them to a certain time frame where they have to advocate for what they want to talk about, but as well as give them a sprinkle of the curated version of themselves. But with these new formats and the new evolution of a talk show, it gives them more creative freedom, as well as it does the host, to break down the walls and still have the moments where we're talking about the project or whatever they want to advocate for and advertise, but they don't have to put up this picture of who they are. They get to just calm down and relax and have real in-depth conversation, humanizing them and showing the authenticity of who they are. This and all is resulting in talk shows not dying, but evolving to something that is more palatable for the societal world that we are in today. And if I'm being completely honest with you, I like it. I gravitate towards it more because of its authentic nature. I mean, people are listening to this and people are listening to me because of the avenues in which the new talk shows are evolving and the authentic nature. Majority of people would never have the opportunity to talk like this and get a better understanding and hear this if it wasn't for the evolution of the talk show. So I am extremely grateful for it, first and foremost. If you wanted to summarize all of this, it would be the death of the talk show is really the death of broadcasting, but the talk show is evolving. It's increased authenticity and increased saturation in the platforms in which it can reach people and affect people's lives in a helpful way is being shown right now. The traditional talk show, the broadcast talk show, the format of the broadcast talk show felt unauthentic. It felt like something that was outdated and needed to be changed. And while we don't see the change in the traditional sense, the change is still coming, and it's showing in the viewership. It's showing in what we're spending our most time watching. It's not the late night talk shows, it's not the early morning talk shows. It's the YouTube channels, it's the TikToks, it's the live streams, it's the Twitch, all of those things are contributing to the death of the talk show as we know it in the evolution of the talk show that we are creating, that we are backing based on authenticity, based on instant communication, and based on reliable and humanistic ideas. Also, this is what I want to do. I said all this not just so we can gain a better understanding, but if I'm being honest, I said all this because this is what I want to do. The Coolest Show with Darwin Randolph wants to be the social commentary show where we just gain a better understanding of it. Right now, we talked about talk shows. Next episode, who knows what we're going to talk about? Well, I know what we're going to talk about, but it's just a place to help us gain a better understanding of the world that we live in, one conversation at a time. And I'm thankful for the evolution of it, because the evolution allows me to do this at a deeper level. The broadcast tends to stay surface level just because of the requirements of the show, but there's no requirements here. It's just conversation, and that's what I appreciate. So if you enjoy the social commentary shows, getting a deep dive, especially through the eyes of a believer in Christ, I would greatly appreciate you following the show. It's on Spotify right now, Apple Music soon, but it's also on YouTube and on social media. So I can't wait to hear from y'all, see y'all, and we can build and grow and learn together. You get what I'm saying? All right, I'll catch you guys later. It's been the Coolest Show with your host, Darwin Randolph.